Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of Reddit Podcast Stories, where today, Karen's sister-in-law demands to use my pool. My fiancé and I own a house with a pool in the backyard. His sister, who we'll call Karen, had asked the day before if she and her family, her husband and 3 kids, could come over on Sunday to swim after one of the kids' sports games, which was at a park close by to us. Now, fiancé and I, we own a small business together that requires work from home on Sundays. Everyone that we know is aware of this, including sister-in-law. I voiced my opinion that I felt it was weird for people to be at our house while we were working in the basement, but fiancé assured me that it would just be chill. He said it's normal for family to use each other's pools even if they aren't home. So we let them come over, thinking that they would be swimming for maybe an hour and then leave. But it wasn't just them. Fiancé's parents also came. We figured they would. But the kicker is that Karen also invited 2 of her friends, plus their partners and their kids as well. We do know these people, but both fiancé and I were not aware of this beforehand. So now it's a full-on party in our backyard while we're just working in the basement. I became very annoyed that they did not only invite themselves, but some of their friends as well. It made me feel guilty that I couldn't be in my own backyard to host people because I was working. It also felt like they were just using the house and didn't really care about seeing us, the homeowners. Not to mention, the house was a complete mess. We had a busy Friday and Saturday, and I didn't bother cleaning much before because I figured it would just be Karen's family. Everyone was here from 1 p.m. until 7 p.m. We finished work around 3 p.m., at which point my fiancé put on his swimming trunks to join them outside. I got in a pretty bitter mood from it all, and I just stayed inside. I didn't say hello to anyone because I figured they weren't even here to see me, just my pool. I did do some laundry and some cleaning up, and I ended up seeing a few people who were coming inside to use the washroom. I said hi and tried to make some small talk, but I really wasn't happy. Fiancé came in and said that I was creating an awkward and unwelcoming atmosphere by not being outside. I told him I never planned to have a party today, so I was just carrying on doing what I had originally planned, which was laundry and cleaning. Fiancé keeps saying that I was rude for not joining them outside after work. He also says things like, "The pool is meant to be used," and that it's family time. Am I the jerk? Edit. Answering those who have asked, we bought this house together, completely 50-50. Not the jerk. You're not obligated to host a party you don't want with people you didn't invite. This is a fiancé problem, not the jerk. Not the jerk, but you and your fiancé need to have a serious conversation about this. It's guaranteed not to be a one-time thing, and you clearly have different expectations about your home life. I hope you're prepared for unexpected and unwanted guests for the rest of your life. Your fiancé clearly thinks your home is a community center, and you clearly think it's a private place. Neither approach is wrong, but they are entirely incompatible. My fiancé's ex recently passed away, and my relationship is now in shambles. My fiancé, 30 male, and I, 31 female, have been together for nearly 3 years. We were super excited for our wedding that's going to take place 6 months from now. I had a hard boundary against exes in the relationship, and we both agreed that no pictures, no contact, no stories, nothing. Prior to meeting me, he was in a serious relationship for about the same time as us. However, his ex, 29 female, one day told him that she no longer loved him and they broke up. He was heartbroken and it took him months to heal. Since his ex was blocked, her mom contacted my fiancé and told him that she had cancer and wanted to meet him one last time. This was a difficult decision considering my boundaries, but I felt really sorry that this girl was going through this at such a young age, so I supported my fiancé's decision to go see her, but on the condition that I would be in the same room as them. Apparently, she had developed skin cancer, and the doctor had drawn up a prognosis for her a few months before they broke up. The ex told both of us that she wanted him to live a happy life with a woman who could share life with him, and she wished us well. That's why she lied about not loving him anymore, and that she always loved him this whole time. She recently passed 3 weeks ago, and my fiancé is a mess now. I can't unsee the way they both held each other's hands and the look of nostalgia and love in his eyes for her. As I was looking on, I felt like an outsider. It's so difficult and hurtful to see him cry about another woman who he once loved. I literally can't unhear things he said to his mom in the kitchen one day. I wonder what life could have been like with her. We could have been a happy family of our own. She wanted kids with me, and we could have named her Rose like she wanted. Where does this leave me? Why am I in his life still if he'd rather be with someone else? I promised myself that I'll only ever be with a guy for whom I am his one and only and first priority. I saw that in him before, but now, I don't know. Trust me, I'm not a heartless person, and I would rather not put myself in any position where I'll consider myself to be a monster. But this feels incredibly complicated and extremely hurtful to feel like a third wheel in my once happy and thriving relationship. He's been reaching out to me for support, and I lent a listening ear, and he's been telling me so many stories from his time with her, and I didn't like any of it. My therapist told me while having empathy is important, I shouldn't have to lose myself in my relationship, even if circumstances are hard. 2 days ago, he received a package in the mail, and it was from the ex's sister. Apparently, it was a photo album from their old times together that his ex wanted him to have. My fiancé held it so gently and teared up a little, and I literally broke down on the floor crying, having a panic attack. I think I almost unloaded all of what I've been feeling, the third wheel, the unfairness of the whole situation based on what my boundaries around exes had been. My anger at the ex for inserting herself in our lives for no good reason when both of us were literally so happy, and how things were panning out regarding our wedding, questioning where his loyalties lie, and I think I did it in one of the most hurtful ways. I told him that we need to pause our wedding plans for now and wanted a week or two off to think about our relationship. I'm at my sister's place and haven't been able to sleep or eat properly ever since. It's almost as if I'm falling out of love with my fiancé, and he's been calling me and texting me nonstop. I feel so guilty right now. He was in a horrible place a few years ago, and I'm afraid I might be triggering that again. He says his ex is already passed, and it's gonna break him if I leave him too. If I leave him too? Emphasis on the two. I'm just done. What the heck am I supposed to do? Well, this is wildly complicated. On one hand, I think he's in mourning for not only this person, but also the relationship he thought they had. He mourned the relationship of someone who didn't love him, and I don't want to be that person, but you know he loved her, so her admission shifted things. On the other hand, I can understand your feelings. You're not a replacement for this woman, and you shouldn't be made to feel that way. I do think that once he's grieved all of the individual things, assessing things will be easier. But there should also be acknowledgement that like things said in anger, things said in grief also cannot be undone. If there is not anything he can do to truly undo the image you now have, then you need to be honest with yourself about that. I'm truly so sorry for you both. I think you're both experiencing grief for answers tied to someone no longer around. Please be gentle with yourself, because you don't sound like a monster. You sound like someone trying to support their partner through an issue that triggers things within you as well. Everyone's feelings here are valid. There's no monstrosity in that. For sure, pause the wedding. He's grieving her. I don't think you should break up with him, but pause the wedding and see how you feel in a month or two. I'm sorry. It's kind of contradictory for her to break up with him so he could find happiness with someone else, only to confront him later with the truth, which sends his mind in a tailspin and essentially damages his current relationship with the woman he was supposed to be happy with. That's messed up. I know he's grieving right now, but hopefully he will realize how this situation looks from your perspective. You're feeling like a third wheel when you should be his #1 priority. My best guy friend just told me he's in love with me 2 days before my wedding, plus update. I've been with my fiancé for 3 years, engaged for a little over a year. My best friend and I have known each other since freshman year of college. We're all in our early 30s. This morning, I woke up to a long text from my guy best friend that he had sent around 6 a.m. Basically, it was him pouring his heart out to me. He said he's been in love with me for years, but always hoped I'd end up breaking up with my fiancé and finally noticing him. He asked me to call off the wedding and run away with him. It said, "I needed to tell you before it was too late." I just feel gross and sad. I have no feelings for him beyond platonic love. I've drafted a response and deleted it over and over. I haven't even told my fiancé. I don't want him to have to worry about me so soon to our wedding. I know I need to, but I don't know what to do or how to phrase it. What's worse is that he's become my fiancé's friend too. I'm also pretty upset that my friend chose such an unfortunate time to cause me such distress. There were many times over the years that he could have just bucked up and told me how he felt, but waiting until right before I'm married? Like I would just cancel my wedding and leave my fiancé because of a text message? I want to tell him to not come to the wedding. I can't trust that he wouldn't try to pull something. I don't even know if I want to talk to him again, but the thought of losing my best friend is heartbreaking. Heck, the thought of not having him at my wedding is really painful. He's put me in an uncomfortable, impossible situation. I wish it wasn't on me to deal with his feelings for him. I wish he had either stopped being friends with me when he realized us ending up together would never happen, or had told me a while ago. I don't want to kick him while he's down, but I need to make it clear that I have no feelings. The wedding is still on, and I don't want him to attend. We've been friends for over a decade. I've been crying over this all day. I feel almost disgusted, knowing that this whole time he had ulterior motives. How do I even go about dealing with this? I'm supposed to get married in under 48 hours. Edit. I'll be showing this text to my fiancé after he gets home from his brother's. I won't send anything until he's here with me. Update. My husband, I love being able to say that now, and I got back from our honeymoon yesterday. I turned on my phone and opened the Reddit app, and it was still signed into this account, so I had an "oh yeah" moment and figured I'd post an update. So a lot of people here really helped validate the icky mess of feelings I was having. Thank you for that. So that night, my fiancé got home from his brother's. I let him sit down, and then I showed him the text. He read it, and I watched his eyes get bigger and expression angrier. Of course, I started apologizing like an idiot, and he told me I didn't owe him an apology for anything. We talked, and he told me he figured the guy had a crush, but kept it respectful. And really, he had. We were close, but beyond a side hug during greetings and goodbyes, there was no physicality. I even let him read out past messages just to see that there was no emotional affair or me leading him on. I never even vented about my fiancé when we would have arguments because I knew better than to do that. I'd talk to my mom instead. So my fiancé asked me what I wanted to do, and I said that while it did sadden me, I didn't want him at our wedding. I was afraid that he would try something else. We typed up a very brief message. It said, "Friend, I'm sorry that you mistook my friendship for something more. The wedding is going to happen, and it would be better if you didn't attend." To be clear, I let my fiancé read this message, and he stands by my decision to uninvite you. We wanted to make it clear that it was me who wanted him not to come, not just my fiancé. Knowing him, he'd probably claim that fiancé forced me to uninvite him. He read the message and left it on read for a while. I honestly started getting pretty anxious over it, and fiancé asked if I wanted to block him. Part of me wanted to, and part of me wanted to hear him out. And when he finally responded, the text was so long that I had to click on it to read it. It was horrible. He called me a liar for leading him on for over a decade, that he hoped my fiancé left me, and that we never had kids. It was just horrible thing after horrible thing, and I started crying. Fiancé took my phone into the other room while I cried. I think he called him, but I'm not sure. What I do know is after about an hour, he came back in, handed me my phone, and told me that friend was now blocked on everything, would not be attending, and the best man and my maid of honor knew of the situation and would handle it for me. It was like a weight lifted off my shoulders, honestly. After reading that message, I really wasn't so sad that friend wouldn't be attending anymore. And our wedding really rocked. We had the time of our lives, surrounded by people who loved us, and we loved them. It still feels like a dream, to be honest. And if friend tried to show up, I never heard anything of it. I guess that's the update. It's not nearly as dramatic or crazy as what people hoped for, but I'm happy. It is extremely rare when men don't have ulterior motives when it comes to friendships with women. This happens all the time. There's almost never such thing as a dude who just wants to be friends with a girl. The only girls I'm friends with are either coworkers or I knew them growing up from school. Every time I start dating a new lady and she tells me that she has a lot of guy friends and hopes that I'm not the jealous type, I tell her no. I then simply ask, how long has she been friends with this guy or that guy? Are they married? Do they have a girlfriend? Do they date a lot? Then I ask, and how many times has this guy professed his love for you? Usually I get a look of shock, like, how did you know? I'm a guy. I know guys. Most guys can't just be friends with a woman. They usually have feelings for them, and if they don't date or aren't married, will literally wait around and just hope one day she says she likes him. My girlfriend won't stop checking out other dudes in front of me, and I'm fed up. My girlfriend has a serious case of the wandering eye, and I don't know what to do. So here's the deal. I, male 33, have been with my girlfriend, who's 29, for 3 years. We're happy and in love, except for one thing. Recently, she can't keep her eyes off of other guys. It's like she has a radar for hot dudes. Every time we go out, she ogles them like crazy. She turns her head, cranes her neck, even smiles at them sometimes. It's so obvious and embarrassing. I've tried to talk to her about it, but she always blows me off. She says it's no biggie, that she doesn't mean anything by it. She says I'm the only one she loves and that I have nothing to worry about. But I do worry, and I want her to quit. So I decided to give her a taste of her own medicine and to make her feel what I feel. I spent a day last weekend eyeing other girls too while we were walking together, especially the ones that are super hot. I made comments on how hot they were, how nice they looked, how much I liked them. I acted like I was into them, even though I wasn't. I just wanted to make her see how much it sucks. I didn't stop there. I also looked at the billboards and posters of models and celebrities. I said things like, wow, or how hot they were. I even looked at the front shop windows of clothing stores and said how much I liked the models in them. She hated it. She got upset with me and called me childish and immature. She said I was being rude and insensitive. She said I was ruining our relationship with my stupid games. She stopped talking to me and gave me the cold shoulder for days now. I don't think that's fair. I was only trying to make a point. I think she's being hypocritical and unreasonable. She can look at other guys, but I can't look at other girls? How does that make sense? How can I make her see that what she's doing is wrong and hurtful? How can I make her stop looking at other guys? Update. I want to thank everyone who commented and gave me advice. Most of you told me that what I did was wrong and immature, that I should have communicated with her instead of playing games. Some of you also said that maybe she has some insecurity issues or low self-esteem that make her seek validation from other guys. A few of you suggested that maybe she's cheating on me or planning to. Well, I decided to follow your advice and talk to her calmly and honestly. I told her how much I love her and how much it hurts me when she looks at other guys. I told her that I feel disrespected and insecure when she does that. I told her that I want her to stop doing that and focus on our relationship. I also apologized for what I did and said that it was childish and stupid. I said that I was just trying to make her understand how I feel, but that it was the wrong thing to do. She didn't listen to me at all. She denied everything and said that she doesn't have a problem with looking at other guys. She said that it's no biggie, that she doesn't mean anything by it. She said that I'm the only one she loves and that I have nothing to worry about. She said I'm being paranoid and insecure and that I need to get over it. She said that she's tired of me bringing this up all the time and that I need to stop. I told her that this is a serious issue for me and that we need to work on it together. I suggested that we go to couples counseling to get some professional help. She refused and said that she doesn't need counseling, that she's already seeing a therapist for work-related stress and anxiety. I told her that's unrelated and that this is about our relationship, not her work. I told her that I'm willing to pay for the counseling since I'm the one who asked for it. She still refused and said that counseling is a waste of time and money, and she said that I should seek therapy to work on my paranoia and insecurity, not her. I gave her more than a week to rethink about the counseling, but she didn't change her mind. I couldn't take it anymore. I realized that she didn't care about me or our relationship. She didn't respect me. She didn't love me the way I loved her anymore. She was selfish and dishonest. She was not the person I thought she was anymore. I decided to end things with her. I told her that I can't be with someone who doesn't value me or our relationship. I told her that I can't trust her or feel secure with her and that she needs to work on herself. I told her that it's over and that she needs to move out of my apartment. She burst into tears and begged me to stay. She said that she was sorry and that she loved me. She said that she didn't want to lose me and that she would do anything to make it work. She said that she would stop looking at other guys and that she would go to counseling with me. She said that she made a mistake and she wanted another chance. I didn't believe her. I think she was just saying those things to manipulate me and to avoid the consequences of her actions. I think she was scared of losing the comfort and stability of our relationship. I think she didn't love me, but only what I provided for her. I stood firm and told her that it was too late, that she had many chances to change and she didn't. I told her that I was done and that there was no going back. I told her that she had a week to pack her stuff and leave and that I didn't want to see her or talk to her ever again. She cried harder and tried to hug me, but I pushed her away. I walked out of the apartment and left her there. That was 2 days ago. Since then, I've been staying with my brother, who has been very supportive and understanding. He helped me block her number and social media accounts so she can't contact me anymore. I'm feeling a mix of emotions right now. I'm sad, angry, hurt, betrayed, confused, relieved, hopeful, and scared. It's a roller coaster of feelings, but I know I made the right decision. I know I deserve better than her. I know I will heal and move on eventually. I want to thank you all again for your support and advice. You helped me see the truth and stand up for myself. Well done. It wasn't a big deal until it affected her directly. She invalidated your feelings, and when the shoe was on the other foot, she got angry without understanding her hypocrisy. She might change for the next person, but regardless of what she said and her desperation to keep the relationship, she wasn't going to change for you. Otherwise, she wouldn't have let it get to the breakup stage to begin with. Proud of you for standing your ground and for demanding better. Like you said, she had every opportunity to address your feelings and what she was doing, but she didn't want to, and she turned it back on you and invalidated your feelings. That's not love and it's not respect, and you deserve both. Wishing you all the best for a brighter, lighter, happy future. How I managed my first micromanager. Back in 2010, I was working in a training management area within a government department. The job was fairly easy for me. When my original supervisor went on extended leave, I got a new supervisor that we'll call Agatha. Almost immediately, Agatha started to micromanage me, even though she didn't really know my job that well, or even half of what my role entailed. Now, I will say that I didn't particularly like Agatha as a person, but I tried to get along with her, even when her management style started to show. In hindsight, I should have worked some internal politics to be removed from the area, but hey, no one said I was smart at 19. The section started to have some underlying tension until one day she called me into a meeting and, long conversation cut short, said the magic words, "You need to do what I tell you to do, and not what you think you need to do." She even followed it up by emailing me words to the same effect. Now, I did two things on the heels of that meeting. Firstly, I printed out the email to keep in my bag, drawer, pocket, and on my wall. Secondly, I started to do what she said, and only what she said. At first, she would just tell me the jobs that needed completing, but she only got worse when she noticed the work wasn't getting done and started to tell me how to do things. Again, I complied and only did exactly what she told me and how she told me to do it. If she missed a step in her instructions, I would either skip it if I could move on or ask her to explain again as I couldn't figure it out. I was a darn good employee. I even went out of my way to start asking her what I should be doing and how, after every task. If she wasn't in the area, which was very common, I would just wait for her to come back first. If she wanted to micromanage me, I would make her work for it. She was getting nothing done. We were getting further and further behind. This went on for about a month. The reputation of our section was tanking internally and externally. Enter Michelle, Agatha's boss. She noticed all my questions and the general drop in productivity, morale, and reputation. She pulled me aside and asked me what was happening, considering I'm normally so competent and efficient and don't ask many questions about how to do the work. Michelle was a fantastic boss and generally preferred a more hands-off approach when she could. She clearly was giving Agatha enough rope to either make a ladder or something else. Okay, back to the story. I explained to Michelle how Agatha was managing me, and I was just trying to help her management style by leaning into it. I also showed her Agatha's email. At this point, I estimated I could get everything caught up in about a week without working any extended hours if things changed. Michelle, being a good boss, simply asked what it would take for me to go back to working the way I always have. I only asked to not be managed by Agatha anymore. I could have been much more insidious with my request, but I only wanted to be left alone to do my work. To my surprise, it worked. I immediately started reporting directly to Michelle. I got the work caught up in 3 days, surpassing even my own expectations. As for Agatha, she started to have her work examined a lot more closely, including her overall output since, I found out later, she was trying to blame me for her low work output. It turned out that I was in fact the solution. Michelle ended up sharing Agatha's workload between the two of us, and we didn't really notice much difference. Agatha, however, did notice a difference, as she was shuffled into another area of the department, one with a lot less responsibility and a whole lot less promotion opportunity. I ran into Agatha again after I had moved around the country a few times. I ended up back in the same office, but a different section. Agatha was still in the same crappy position, same level too. Her personal reputation was so bad that only a handful of people would actually work with her. It felt good to know how stuck she was, and presumably still is. I'm not authorized to go get water? All right. Now before I start, here's a bit of context for the situation. I work in the boat industry as an engine tech and parts painter. I know, quite a broad range right there. Anyway, the company I work for is quite old, and the building I work in is even older. The heating system is trash, and we really lack anything in the way of air conditioning, and it's boiling outside right now. Earlier today, I had started overheating really quickly as the temperature rose in the building. I have a medical condition where my body can't regulate temperature well, meaning I'm at risk of passing out. I was going to go get a bottle of water from the fridge to help me cool down when I was stopped by one of the company's managers. Let's call him Kyle for this story. Kyle.
Where are you going?
Me. I was only going to get some water. Kyle.
You're supposed to be working right now. You can get the water during the coffee break.
Me. I don't think you understand that I can actually be in danger from the heat right now. So, could I please just go get a bottle of water?
No. You're not authorized to leave your work before your clock strikes. Now shut up and get back to work.
Me. Roger that. Keep in mind that this conversation was held in front of my coworkers. Cue malicious compliance. I got back to work, making sure to put on some extra coal just to make sure I made up for lost time. Basically, I was forcing my body into shock and heat stroke was just around the corner. Fast forward around 30 minutes. I had to tell my coworkers through my strained breath that I don't feel too good, which was actually even worse now, as I was working on deck of one of the boats, give or take 3 meters above the floor. When I made my way towards the ladder to climb down, I only got out a very strained, "Oh no," and I fell off the back and was headed straight for the concrete floor below me. Lucky for me, some coworkers reacted fast enough and managed to catch me before my head hit the floor. I woke up in an ambulance around an hour later. The EMTs were checking my vitals and were actually helping me. My boss came up to the door and asked me what had happened. I told him exactly as I told you guys, and I also told him to check with my coworkers if he didn't believe me. Long story short, I was brought to the hospital for a checkup just to make sure I actually didn't get hurt. A buddy of mine came with me to make sure I got there and back safe. A few hours later, my buddy got a call. He picked up, and it was Kyle. My buddy handed me the phone, and I heard Kyle on the other end apologizing for actually almost getting me hurt. Turns out, he was heavily reprimanded for what he told me and was put on watch. Didn't lose his position though, so I guess I didn't fully win. But he was liable for the medical compensation for my situation. I did forgive him, and just to rub it in a bit, I had to ask him, "Am I authorized to get water next time?" And my buddy just laughed. Edit. I already got OSHA on the line, and they're launching an investigation into this. So if nothing else, I just made Kyle's week even more horrible. Also, for those who wondered, Kyle is pretty new and is basically a bit of a jerk. Can I call him that? Whatever. He's rough around the edges and genuinely doesn't believe people when it comes to their personal health. He's got that kind of, "if you can talk, then you can work" kind of mentality. So in a way, he kind of deserved this. OSHA will have a field day with his actions. $600 to-go order, $0 tip. I'm a server, 22 female, at a Chinese restaurant, one of the best, if not the best, in town. Thursday afternoon, we had a man, let's call him Martin, call in to place a very large to-go order to be picked up Saturday, today. The cashier taking his order is the best at the restaurant, Cole. Cole just turned 18. Cole spends about 20 minutes on the phone with Martin, putting in his order. This man ordered an insane amount of food, all party trays. The bill was $599. It's only me and Cole at the restaurant today besides the chefs. The order starts coming out, and I'm helping Cole pack. We have 3 gigantic boxes to use to hold everything. 7 trays of General Tso's chicken, 7 broccoli and beefs, a massive order of white rice and fried rice, 100 steamed dumplings, and we threw in a free party platter of crab rangoons for them. We have the 2 massive boxes on a rolling cart and the 3rd sitting on the line counter. Martin literally rushes in full-on speed walking with his lifting accomplice. Pick up for Martin. Me and Cole go to the kitchen to bring out the food. Cole asks me to push the cart out with the receipt for them to sign. They paid over the phone, and he'll bring out the 3rd box. I go out with the cart, politely ask Martin to sign his receipt. He grabs a pen and very quickly marks a line through the tip amount. I'm thinking, okay, I know this man is not about to not leave a tip on a $600 order. Surely he'll tip, right? I mean, I know it's not a dine-in service, but still it is packaged food. A lot of preparation. Cole and the 2 chefs help these guys load everything into their minivan. At this point, I'm already deciding how I will bring up politely the $0 tip. I'm hoping he slips him cash. I'm behind the counter, watching this guy carefully through the window. He comes back inside, telling Cole he needs hot mustard. Dude starts shoveling handfuls of packets into a bag right at the counter. I slide his signed receipt across the counter directly in front of him and say, "You know, Cole is the one who took your order. He packaged everything." I point to the dashed out tip line. Martin: "I know." Me: "It's $600 worth of food." Martin: "I know." Starts getting irritated. In disbelief, I walk to the back hallway to breathe, trying to contain my anger. Cole was telling me before Martin showed up, even if they tip me 10%, that's $60. $60. This kid works so hard, busts his butt every shift. Not even a minute later, I start walking up front and hear this man yelling. He's screaming at the 2 chefs, who barely speak English by the way. "That girl doesn't know what she's talking about. That jerk needs to shut her mouth." I'm standing there and he's looking at me, pointing, flailing his arms.
Well, now he gets no tip. I was going to tip him cash, but she just ruined it for him. Ridiculous.
Martin proceeds to try and run out of the side door, goes for the wrong side, and slams himself against the blinds instead. Fumbles around, and finally figures out how to stumble out, still yelling. I'm sorry, but never in all of my restaurant experience have I seen someone wait to tip cash so long after signing the check, especially on a catered order. Customers who tip do not wait, and at this restaurant, I've had the owner do the same for me at a table. He's followed customers out who have stiffed me even. Always had my back and made sure to stick up for me and other servers. I wanted to do the same for this kid, and what gets me the most is that I was so polite, and yet this man immediately started shouting at me. I feel kind of bad, but the dude was a jerk. Edit. I would like to add the tip would be 100% Cole's, as he is a cashier and gets to keep to-go tips. I'm a server who would never expect tips from to-go. I was just helping him, as I am the senior employee at this restaurant. Is tipping something most people do on to-go orders? Honestly asking. Do this next. Tap here on your screen to come see our new podcast playlist, where you'll find thousands of hours of the best stories you've ever heard. Or tap the one on the right. That episode is specifically just for you, based on other videos you've enjoyed the most.